All right, we're good. Um, so I don't know. Well, I talked to your dad Kessler a little bit about everything going on. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all my deal from all this. So we're on Tawakoni fishing a bass champ Saturday. Y'all fished. Was y'all's tournament Friday and Saturday? How did it go down?
It was practice day on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday were the tournament
Okay.
days.
So Saturday we're on the water fishing bass champs. I don't know if y'all know. Did y'all know the guys people leading the event?
No, sir.
Okay. So their dad is Chris Wilson. I fished against Chris for going on close to like 15 years now. And then my fishing partner used to fish with Chris a little bit. So like we run into Chris for like the last 15 years on all these lakes. And they were leading the event. So they had 27, right? And y'all had 26.
26 and a half.
Okay. So I didn't, we weren't, like I said, we were fishing and we kind of got a notification, like a buddy called Russell up and say, hey, Chris is leading on Conroe. Now remember, my fishing partner Russell, who I fished with forever, is probably the best fisherman on Conroe ever. And so like everyone's always paying attention to this stuff, especially to him. So they're all letting him know, like, man, they're catching him down there, right? Well, Sunday rolls around, and I want to say I don't remember who called me or he texted me or what happened, but I got this message going, "Hey man, uh, tournament's over. Like it's already done. Some kid, they already caught 30. The guys in second already caught over 30 pounds down by the dam. Like it's a done deal." And I was like, seriously? And I was like, oh, okay. And so I didn't know. Uh, like I said, I was doing other things on Sunday, so I didn't really know what was going on. So I heard about it before y'all ever even weighed in. I don't know how or what. I have no idea, but I heard about it, but I didn't know what y'all had or what. I don't know what Chris's son and them weighed in either. But I was like, I found out that way before y'all ever weighed in that y'all had somewhere around like upper 30s. Is that did y'all have them fairly not early, but did y'all kind of know like before 12 o'clock?
I think at 8:49 we had over 30, and then we caught another 8, and then another 7.5. That pretty fast.
Did so okay, so y'all had to have well over 30 though, because I'm sure those only cold like 3 and 4 pound. Or what were those colds like?
We called out two little, like just barely, or probably 16, 17, 18 inches. So 2.5 to 3 pounders, and
And you still
that
had over
helped.
30 before then?
Yes, sir.
What y'all had? How big were they?
We had like a 9, a 6, and I think like a 5 and two threes or something. No, we might have had one more.
Yeah, y'all
We
had
might
something
have
bigger than that.
we might have already had one of the 8s.
Okay.
So
So y'all knew that y'all had like room to like get like way bigger.
yes, sir. I mean, even when we weighed in, we had one that was only 5.5.
Which are
So
only 5.5.
yes, sir.
I know. Hey, like we've caught some of them 30-pound bags like that, and it is weird how. So y'all didn't have a 10 pounder, did y'all?
No, sir. We the first thing in the morning, I broke two off that I couldn't turn, which that would have probably put us close to 40, 42, 43. But other than that, I mean, it still turned out pretty good.
So we've caught a couple of those 30-pound bags, and then like I said, we usually one pushing 10, and then like you said, we have like that group. It's weird how those groups of fish. Um, it's weird how they group up like that. It's pretty wild. I mean, we've seen it a bunch on certain lakes. Very rarely, we've weighed in a couple 30-pound bags on Conroe. I've never fished Conroe, I think, ever this time of the year, maybe once or twice in my life. So we've kind of had to put it together. Did y'all kind of catch them off of like one spot?
Yes, sir. In practice, we checked out one little spot, and actually 2 years ago, my brother watched in the team of the year for THSBA. He watched the team catch 32 off that spot. So we kind of knew just to check it out, and we saw bait and fish there, and we decided we just were going to start there. And the first day, I think we were done by 9:45, and there was still plenty of them down there. There's probably 100 or so down there still,
100?
maybe more. They were everywhere. Like
So
there was one time with the flutter spoon when I pulled them all off the bottom and caught one about 5.5, and there was a school of 35 to 40, all between 5 and 8 pounds, and come all the way to where you can see them. Follow that one 5-pounder up.
So I don't know. Okay, there's a lot to get into. One, if anyone's just joining, so like we got Kessler Stokes, Lily Bennett. Y'all won. Make sure I get this right. The Texas High School Bass Association State Championship. Correct. This was on
Yes, sir.
Conroe this past Saturday and Sunday. That's for the whole. Does that qualify y'all for anything, or is that just?
I think it's just this tournament. It's where all the divisions come together,
Uh-huh.
and everybody that qualified through regionals comes here.
And y'all, so what year are y'all? Or what year y'all maybe going to be?
I'm going to be a sophomore. Freshman.
I'm going to be a sophomore.
So you're both going to be sophomores?
Yes, sir. We're both freshmen this year.
So y'all are basically. I'm not going to call y'all freshmen because y'all got out of it, right? Y'all are done. But okay, so yeah, most of the time, are most of the people who win juniors and seniors, or have you?
Kind of, yes, sir.
Oh, so y'all got some y'all get to go back.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be fun for the next 2 years trying to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So do y'all know Conroe very well at all?
I fished it a couple times with my dad for Brandon Belt practicing.
But you don't know much about it, right?
No, sir.
So Conroe, it's weird. Conroe, doesn't really have grass in it 90% of the time. And then all of a sudden it's had grass. And usually wherever the grass is, the fish are. And I asked Russell, I was like, and like I said, Russell, they basically win top 5 every single Tuesday night and all this stuff down there. I'm like, what's up with the spot down there? He's like, oh, I don't know, man. He's like, they haven't been down there all year long. And so it was wild. He was like, I can't. That's why I was asking how many, that there was that many of them down there. Cause it still amazes me. I don't understand how live scope helps with, you understood how many fish were there, but we still don't know how they travel. I'm just amazed that many of them travel that fast, because I don't think anyone's really been catching them off that spot down there.
Yeah, you would see them. So the boat that was sitting on the ridge, they would always catch them first. They start catching them, and usually they'd catch one big one, like a 6, 7, 8-pounder, and then a 3-pounder. And then we'd slowly start catching them, and they'd come and move right on that point and sit down. And that's where they always ended up. But the second day, they did move a little bit deeper, probably because of pressure.
But the second day, did y'all catch them better the second day? What do you think? Why did y'all catch them better the second day, you think?
So the first day, we caught, I think, 50 or so fish, but a lot of them were in that 3 to 4-pound range. And I think we just plucked so many little ones that it gave time for the bigger ones to get to it, since those little ones are just so aggressive. And I think that's why we caught a lot of better ones the second day.
I don't know of very many people that have ever caught that many fish on Conroe in a day. Conroe is just not that lake. I mean, it has a ton of fish in it, but I mean, when you talk to most of those, and I'm not talking about the little ones, but when you talk to a lot of those guys, I mean, you catch 10 to 15 keepers in a day, you caught them. it's 16-inch limit for anyone that doesn't realize that. So I mean, so that's at least a 2.5 pounder. But I mean, it's just not one of those places you catch a lot of fish, but you catch big ones. So for y'all to be catching that many of them is wild.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a big school of fish there. So, I mean, I think you could have went out the next day after the tournament and busted 30 again. There was just that many there.
Do y'all care about what y'all caught them on?
The flutter spoon, Carolina rig, Texas rig, and it didn't really matter what was on the back of them. They would, like, I think there was one point that we had 6 or 7 fish in the boat just because, like, I caught one on a Carolina rig, picked up a Texas rig, threw it in there, caught one, picked up a shaky head, or just picked up everything on the front deck and caught one every cast. And there was six or seven, just 2.5 to 3.5 pounders flopping around the bottom of the boat.
Just culling.
Yes, sir.
Lily, what were you throwing?
A wacky worm the whole time.
The whole time? How long did it take to get down there?
There was a shaky head.
Shaky head.
Okay. Okay. Did you how many big ones you catch?
I caught one.
That one of the 8-pounder? I heard you caught an 8-pounder.
I did.
And I heard that from what I heard that like you started jumping up and down, screaming and stuff like that. Is that true?
No.
No. Yeah. I heard that you didn't even you barely busted a smile. Did you even
I
call
smiled.
for okay. Did you even call for the net?
No.
So how excited were y'all? Because I'm gonna I know what it's like, but I want to hear from y'all. Like, was it? So I'll tell you this. We've done good. Like it's different on certain events, but like I've broke down and like I had 2 years where like I was leading events and broke down, and like broke down in like major events, like Toyota Series, like day 3 breakdown. That's happened to me a couple of times. It's cost me. I think there was a championship on Rayburn for a brand new boat. We were leading, broke down all day long. We came in second. So to this day, if I have like a giant bag or something and I'm driving to weigh in, like the entire time I'm driving, I'm like, is the boat going to break down? Am I going to get there? Stuff like, is any of that cross y'all's mind?
There was one tournament. I think it was a high school next gen. We were second place for Angler of the Year, and we ended up losing Angler of the Year by half a pound to one of our buddies, and we broke down on Lake Whitney. And we had 5 fish, but we were heading to the spot, and the next day her dad had 24 out of the spot we were headed to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean it cost us Angler of the Year, but yeah, I mean it's always in the back of your mind thinking about something like that. Having just I mean we called it early both days, but I mean you can still always break down, yeah.
I'm just telling, we had we had a Bass and Bucks championship we were leading. We were driving. We could see the spot we were going to, and we broke down on day 2. We idled for like 45 minutes till we got there. I had to stay that we weren't catching them all there. We were just starting the morning there, and we fished there. And I didn't end up losing like a 9 or 10 pounder, but I think we had a bigger bag on day 2, but by 11 o'clock they were done. And then we had to wait. We ended up finally getting somebody to come give us a boat on the water. And we had like an hour to go fish. And we called 3 times in an hour. Like we knew we could catch them, but we lost by 0.04. The first place was like a $50,000 boat. Second place was 2,500 or something. Like it was, no, 4,000. It was 4,000, like a giant difference. And that was like the start of 4 events where the next event was a Toyota event. I won the event. I was leading day going into the final event and the day, and then it was on Toledo, and I got like a mile from takeoff and broke down. And then I didn't start fishing until I had to get another boat at like 10 o'clock. And that was my first ever like pro event, like that I was leading. So I was, and then the next year at Amstead, I broke down leading that event on day 3. And like I was in Mexico on the Mexico waters and broke down for like 4 hours. So I mean, like in giant waves, trying not to end up on the shoreline. And I lost that event by 4 ounces. I mean, so I've had like to this day, if I think I might have a chance to win, like my stomach's a nervous wreck driving back to the weigh-in, thinking something bad's about to happen.
Sounds like you need to just get yourself a brand new boat.
Well, I did. Well, so that was all when I was real younger, and it was funny. One of the boats we used was a borrowed brand new demo boat. It had less than 10 hours on it. The other one was less than a year old boat. And then one of them was a new boat. And then the third one was Russell's boat. So like only one of them was like my original boat that was a new one. But yeah, hey, listen, man, for like 10 years, I fished out of like 10-year-old boats, man. I just, we couldn't, I couldn't afford a new one. So, but it doesn't matter, man, new or old, they still like, I just like I said, for 2 years, it was a bad, weird stuff.
Sounds like it.
So, what's next? We didn't ever have this high school stuff when I was younger. I know talking to your dad and stuff that like when we did all this, when I was in high school, we just fished regular tournaments against everyone else. So I wondered, like, are y'all doing any of that, or do y'all strictly just stay high school, or y'all? I think Kessler, you'll fish some stuff. You'll fish some like I'm not saying regular events, but like just regular team tournaments, correct? That aren't associated with the high school stuff.
Yes, sir. I think we fished a lot of the Texas Boat World, and also we fished TTZ or Triple T on Belton, and we got a check in that, and then we fished
this past one.
Yes, sir. The last one on Belton.
Yeah. Okay.
And we fished the Tough Man series too. And yes, sir, we fish a lot of just team tournaments as well.
Lily, are you going to fish any, or are you just going to wait till next year?
I fished some with my dad for Texas Boat World.
Okay. And are y'all both in like the Belton Stillhouse area?
Yes, sir.
So we didn't fish that TXTT on Belton. We fished the Bass Champs the week before. That was my second time there. And we ended up coming in, I think, 5th in that one. And I had big bass in that one too. I had like a 740. I live scoped that one up. Did y'all live scope? Yeah.
Did you post that?
Huh?
Did you post the video of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. You got to realize too, since I'm older, man, everyone's always kind of, like this whole live scope debate thing. I'm all over it. Like everyone, I'm all over it. I got a whole bunch of different thoughts on it all, but most people know me for doing old school stuff. But I've been messing with live scope for about 3 years, and I just kind of keep it under wraps a little bit. So I mean, I do it. It gets me. It hurts me at times because I don't do it more. But it helped me on Belton because of this reason. I was going to ask you all this, is that like Belton I'd only been to one time in my life, and it was actually a TXTT. Like I think me and my partner were trying to figure it out. I think it was like 2016, and we came in 3rd. And we obviously live scope went around. So when we went back there, I barely remember where I caught them or like what we did. I mean, I kind of remember what we did, but like the lake didn't look familiar to me, right? It had been like 9 years. So on a new lake with like no experience on it, I didn't it was a lot easier for me to go scope around because I didn't know how, I didn't have this like other way to catch them. Y'all got to realize a lot of us older guys have like this. You go back, like if you go fish a tournament on Conroe, you're going to go back and fish that point, right? You're going to,
Definitely.
you have to. And then say you fish Conroe like 5 times and you catch them there and you catch them some other places. You look up and almost your entire practice day is checking stuff you've already caught them on, which can help you but can hurt you at the same time. So at Belton, I didn't have that. So I just went like all new stuff and we just found all new fish, and that's how we did good. And so live scope helps me that way. But then if I go somewhere that I kind of know, I ended up not live scoping a lot because I just kind of go off history. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it's not. But like being young, I'm sure that y'all don't. It helps sometimes, right? Do you even worry about it now?
Yeah, sir. You can kind of, I mean, live scope's just like another tool you can use. I mean, it's a lot more helpful than just side scan and stuff because you can actually see what's down there, what's going on, and you can see everything and what's actually happening down there, and it helps because you can just find everything. Like all those fish just look like little bitty rocks almost popping off the bottom, and then once you can pull them up, and that's when you can tell how many are there and see what they'll react to and see how everything's panning out.
So what's crazy, what we had to do back in the day, and I say, I mean, who knows? I'm saying if y'all would have found them with or without it. The hard part is not ever knowing like that for all those years. Like we would go to a spot like that and throw on it. And if we didn't get bit right away, or maybe we missed them, or maybe we threw the wrong bait or whatever, if you don't get bit, you just leave. Or maybe you get 1 bite there or 2 bites, but you find another point where you get like 4 bites on 4 casts. And so you might start on that other point where you got 4 bites on 4 casts, and maybe there's only like 10 fish there, as opposed to going to that other place where you got 2 bites, but there was 100. That's the hard part, is like y'all knew that what the potential of that spot was because of live scope.
Yeah, sir. I remember back when live scope hadn't came out yet, and on Steelhouse it was a lot of everybody picked a point to sit on, and you stayed there all night, and if they were there, they were there. If they weren't, they weren't. That's what people did a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean, we had a place on Rayburn. We saw some on side imaging what we thought were bass, right? Because like, I don't care what anyone says, side imaging shows stuff, and sometimes you think they're bass. I mean, when you're on Rayburn, there's a lot of stuff that can be down there that somewhat look like bass, or they're not all bass or whatever. We saw some, and they were in a kind of a different spot. We'd never seen them there before. They were deeper than we were thinking. And when we fished that spot for like probably an hour in practice, and I had a bite. I finally got a bite, like after 45 minutes to an hour. Like we fished it that long because we were kind of thinking that they had to be bass. And I finally get a bite, and I shake it off. And then we said another 30 to 40 minutes fishing around there, and I got 1 other bite finally. And that's a long time, right? And I shook that one off. I'm like, hey, these are big ones. But in our heads, when we talked about it, like, well, we didn't even start there. We started somewhere else because we didn't think it was that, it took us forever to get a bite there. We caught 1 decent one, and we showed up there, and I was telling him, I'm like, all right, man, look, we're going to just have to like figure out how to get 4 more bites here. And it's going to take us forever. And it was like 3rd cast, I catch one. And in the next 3 casts, we had over 35 pounds. Right.
Yeah.
We would have started there if we'd have known that, right? We didn't know that. We thought it was going to be hard. Once we got them going, it was freaking on, I'm sure, like y'all's. But like, yeah, someone else could have easily started there. We would have never have known that it was like the potential of 30-something pounds.
Yeah, once just like you said, you get one bite, and if you start pulling that school, then they'll start biting. It was like I said, 6 or 7 in the bottom of the boat flopping around. It was just they'll eat whatever. And but the bad thing is when you do start doing that, you spread that school out because a
Yeah.
lot of times they'd follow it right to the boat and then just go right under the boat, and you have to re-find them. So
Do they ever go very far?
I think at the most they went like 100 yards.
Well, that's pretty far though. I mean, if
Yeah,
you think
they
about it.
they wouldn't go. That was probably the most, but other than that, they go 90 feet this way, 20 feet this way, and then the school would break up every once in a while, and you'll find a couple over here and stuff like that.
All right, a hard question. Were you worried about anyone starting on it the next day?
Actually, the guys beside us that watched us catch them were really nice, and they said, "We're going to be sitting right where we were, and we ain't going to bother you at all." So, kind of, I mean, there definitely could have been someone else that heard about it and started there, but and the second day, once we got to the boat ramp, there was nobody. Like everybody that didn't do good, I guess, decided just to sleep in and wait to get up till. I mean, you could leave the ramp at 5 and start fishing at 6.
Gotcha. If
So I mean,
someone was, go
a
ahead.
little bit, but uh,
Were
yeah, I
you,
don't know.
if they were there, were you worried Lily was going to yell at them?
No,
She seems like the type that might yell at someone. She's pretty vocal. No, Lily, nothing.
Sometimes I can.
Okay. I just heard you're pretty quiet in the boat. Are you, Kessler? Are you, or do you like? So me and my partner, like, we talk. If I'm fishing with like the pro-am, like with a co-angler, I don't know, dude, I could go a whole day without ever speaking. Like I'll never, because one, I don't know, it's a kind of a stranger or whatever, but two, like I'll talk to my fishing partner because we were both out there, and like you said, like you, you have y'all practiced, you knew everything that was going down, you knew like you're trying to like figure it out. Maybe you're not trying to figure it out too much when it's happening at 9 o'clock, but I'm sure you all have had other tournaments where you had a game plan, 9 o'clock rolls around, you've got nothing, and you're like, all right, like what do we, throughout the day, it's almost like anything that's going on in my head comes out. Like talking, I'm like, man, do you think we need to go over here? What do you think's going on? Why did they not bite on the first spot? Like, do y'all do that or?
well, I mean, I've never fished with a stranger before, so I mean, me and
Not
my
that
dad.
I get not talking to them, but do you and Lily talk like that or no?
I talked to my dad a lot about it. Like if nothing pans out,
Do you have thoughts, Lily? Do you ever?
No, I just let them decide.
And then you just like pick up the slack, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna get much out of Lily, am I?
not really.
That's all right. Usually you need someone just back there doing their own thing, catching fish. So I won't keep you all too long. I do want to ask y'all this. So um, we fish tournaments. I started doing this in high school around, I think y'all are sophomores. I would probably say I was probably a sophomore. Y'all are what, 15?
Yes, sir.
I think I fished my first tournament at 15. I sure didn't win a state championship at 15, but we started fishing team tournaments on Livingston. Conroe wasn't for a couple years later. And so I was like, man, at the time, I was just trying to like it was just cool. Like I think the first tournament we ever fished, I came in second. I really don't remember. I remember winning some money, which was awesome. But at the time, I didn't care that much about the money. I think a little bit later, like the money started being a big deal. Not much, like within like a couple tournaments, realizing that I could actually win some really a lot of money at 15 was I mean, you start winning 1,000, 2,000, like that's a lot of money. Shoot, a couple $100 at 15 is a lot of money. So that's what we did it for. It was like money slash trophy slash just trying to do good. And I was trying to figure out, like, I know y'all won't think about this much, but I'll just let y'all know. So y'all won. Y'all didn't win any cash for this, correct?
No, sir. It all is scholarship money.
So I don't know. Have you talked to your dad about this at all?
About
All like, so we kind of got in. We kind of, when I say got into it, me and your dad were talking, and maybe someone from some of these associations might listen to this, and they might not like this take, but I'm going to say it anyways. I wasn't really. Some people might not be. Some people might think, "Oh, y'all got scholarship money." I wasn't that excited about the scholarship money for y'all. I'll be honest with y'all. I actually wanted y'all to win money. There's going to be a lot of people who don't like what I have to say about that, but I'll explain it to y'all. And if y'all do fish as a career, or take this into college, or take this to wherever, um, I think these are things that fishing overlooks. So like even me, like every tournament I fish and every decision I make is largely based on money, but not in like a bad way. It's just the sport we're in. You're not going to get rich by doing this sport, right? It's very hard to even make a living. Very few people ever do. And so I was just looking at it and go, well, man, they're getting a scholarship to college. And I'm like, well, 15,000 is 15,000. It doesn't matter if it's cash or a scholarship. It's still money. And so I was looking at it going, man, I'd rather have taken that money and let y'all do whatever y'all want to with it. Now, someone might be like, well, they might just go spend it on video games. And I'm like, they could. I was like, but maybe they needed a new graph. Maybe they needed this. Maybe they put it in savings. Maybe they put it in a CD, and instead of 15,000, after, by the time y'all graduate, it's up to 17,000. So, or maybe if it was me looking at it now, I'm like, well, maybe they put it in a mutual fund, and in 50 years, it's 2 million. So I just looked at that as going, man, I hope that I don't know how, but I hope that the association starts thinking about different ways to maybe do that rather than a scholarship. And listen, I want both my kids to go to college. Don't get me wrong, but I still think the option should be up to y'all. Y'all are the ones that went out there, caught the fish, found the fish, did everything, and did what y'all needed to do. So I'm hoping someone listens to that. Maybe not everyone agrees with me. I'm sure people will go nuts over what I just said, but I'd rather y'all have the option to do what y'all want to with the money, or your parents. Maybe your parents make bad decisions. Maybe y'all make bad decisions, but at least y'all get to make the decision, right? Good or bad. And I think sometimes maybe y'all can make a better decision than what the Texas High School Bass Association thinks with a scholarship. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just hoping that stuff changes, because my biggest fight for fishermen is trying to get fishermen more money. Like, that's my number one fight. Like, I'm always trying to figure out how we can make more money in this sport. So that's what I'm always fighting for. But keep that in mind as y'all keep going. Like, make smart decisions on like what tournaments to fish. Don't go chasing wild goose chases like far away, like y'all did. Do what y'all are doing now. Like, I think it's a great way to get introduced in the sport. We didn't have this stuff, but I like what y'all are doing.
Yeah, I'd say with the money, it's just like you said, we could go spend it on like a lot of fish and stuff that replace what you use and all that. But I kind of agree with you on what you're saying about it.
I just like I said, I just like the option. I like giving y'all the choice, right? Um, I just like a choice. I just rather be able to do, I remember my first boat I ever won was on Conroe. So you were saying, hey, why didn't you needed a new boat, right? And so I was like 20 or 21, and we won our first boat, and I sold it. And everyone was like, why'd y'all sell it? And I'm like, well, look, man, I was going to college and I needed a brand new vehicle. Like I needed a vehicle to like go fishing, and a vehicle was more important than a boat, right? Like you can have a boat with no vehicle, you can't do anything. So I said, well, I'll win another boat. Let me get a vehicle that was going to be able to pull a boat and do all that stuff. So that was more important than whatever else they could have given me for that money, right? And so stuff like that helped along the way. Someone from the high school association is probably like shaking their head, like, "Oh, what did he just open this can of worms up for?" But yeah, I didn't know about any of this stuff and how it all works. So I'm always kind of interested on how this stuff works for y'all.
Yeah.
Do y'all get money at other tournaments, like the tournaments leading up to this? Like, so I'm sure y'all have like, what do y'all have? Like the regular season event, something like a regional qualifier, and then maybe this.
Yes, sir. They have like 6 or 7 different divisions, and I think you fish 4 or 5 tournaments leading up to it, and then they have the regionals you can go to, and I like how they do lose and strike team gift cards that you can go and like that's kind of you can spend on whatever you want, which that's good. And yeah, and then it's just regional and then state. Like,
I gotta tell, of course, I gotta holler at Lose and Strike King and let them know that, like, hey, maybe I can try to get them to bump it up a little bit even more for y'all. So, and if y'all ever need anything or want to try something out, let me know. I probably have a couple of Lose and Strike King stuff in the garage. So,
yes,
well,
sir.
so y'all got, what do y'all have this summer? Y'all just fishing some local stuff, and then does it start right back up again in the fall?
Yes, sir. It's over for the summer. Besides the Angler of the Year tournament,
Well, what's that?
so I don't know what percentage it is, but everybody that finished in that percentage can go fish an Angler of the Year tournament on Lake Waco, and that one's all Lose and Strike King gift cards.
When is that?
And I think it's middle of June.
Are y'all going to it?
Yes, sir.
Now, so will y'all pre-practice at all?
That's her home lake, her dad's home lake.
Oh,
So
so Lily's going to be running the trolling motor and everything, and you're going to have to be. She's going to take control over this one.
yep.
Lily, is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that one. Like I said, we've tournaments are different now. Like most of our tournaments start slowing down too at the middle of June. Ours start picking up. So y'all's will start back up in the fall again
Yes, sir.
before school starts, or like,
I
or
think it's
does it
gonna
really
be right.
matter?
It's in September sometime, so probably after school starts again.
How many will y'all have?
I think 5 again. I think they
5 for
do
the year.
5 every year, and then a regional and state.
Okay. Where was the regional at?
LBJ,
Ooh, how'd y'all do there?
not good. We barely
Really?
qualified.
When was it?
It was right after the spawn. I was kind of surprised we didn't do any better. They had like 20 pounds in practice, but
What date was it? You remember?
to be honest, I don't know.
It was in April?
I think it was a little after April. It was closer.
I
I
think it
think it
was
was
the
like,
beginning of May.
yeah.
Was it? Oh, okay. So we were there. We were there, and I think it was April, and they were kind of getting done. So yeah,
Did y'all fish the bass champs there?
yes,
Yeah.
we had
How'd y'all do?
a top 10. I think we finished 10th. I think we won. We had 20. 21, I think.
Did y'all catch
It
them
was
on beds?
Yeah, they were on beds. See, that was a frustrating one. So we had like what I would call 10 fish found. I mean, we had a bunch more. We had 10.
10 good
And
ones.
yeah, well, the bad part is we caught like our sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th largest ones. Our first through fifth ones were either gone. We didn't lose any. I'll be honest with you. So what happened is that like he had a big one and I had a big one. Both of us, we needed to see both of them, and both of them had they both had males with them. And I was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Well, I shook off the male I had like 40 to 50 times before I could catch the female." Because the male was so aggressive. And I was like, if anyone catches that male, the female is going to leave. And I'm like, so pretty much I already knew that I was like, I don't know if anyone found it. It was kind of in a unique spot, but I was like, I guarantee you no one even saw the female. I'll bet all the money in the world, no one ever even knew the female was there because of where she sat so far away. But I was like, if the male would bite, I could get like 10 feet from the bed and the male would run over there and eat. It was the wildest male ever. And then he had one that was like a 1-foot male too. And he said it was about an 7 to 8 pounder, 9 pounder. He said, if someone catches that one, it's going to be a project. But he goes, if someone catches that male, she's gone. And so we pulled up to both of them. Both the males were gone. And we pretty much, like I said, we didn't feel like we started on 2 other ones that were like a 6 and a 4. And caught them. So we were kind of going, which ones do you start on? The 6 and the 4, or like one of the bigger ones that's not that much bigger. Anyways.
Did you find any in clear?
In what?
In clear? Did y'all find any in there?
In the creek?
In Clear Creek.
I have no idea. I don't know the names of any of those creeks. I'm horrible about like that. Like I've only been there a couple of times, so I don't know the name. I don't know the name of any of them. Which one's clear?
The clearest one there is.
Oh, well, that doesn't help me either. Is it?
It's down towards the main lake. If you're driving towards the dam, it'll be on the left.
Does it split in the back like 3?
Kind of. It splits 2 in the back.
The 2 in the back.
And it has like a little shallow spot, and you have to idle past.
Yeah. Well, does it split twice and then a third one go over here?
Yeah.
I had 3 or 4. No, we didn't weigh any from back in there. I had one on perspective mode back in there, like the only one on this boat. It came up and ate a frog. I couldn't tell how big it was. We went back in there and caught it. It was on perspective mode. It ended up being like a 3 3/4. It didn't help us. But the other ones were kind of like all over the place. We had them like spread out all over that thing. We just couldn't. It just kind of didn't work out. I say it didn't work out. We ended up 10th, got the Skeeter money, so we won like 11 grand. So we weren't all that disappointed at all.
Yeah.
We starting to go there now because like the bed fishing and the frog fishing and like that place is pretty cool. We like that place.
That's where my cousin lives, on those 3 lakes. Travis, LBJ, and Buchanan.
Yeah, and see, we don't get to fish. I'm trying to push for more tournaments, like these bigger tournaments, to go down to like Travis and those places because even though we live on Rayburn and stuff, we kind of get tired. Like I've been fishing Rayburn and Toledo for so long that we like going to these other lakes. We like traveling around a little bit more. We have more fun sometimes on other lakes than our home lakes. They get old. Our home lakes get old after a while. I mean, everyone's gonna be like, how does Rayburn get old? Man, it always has for me. I can only fish it for so long. And then I just want to go travel around, travel. And that's, a couple hours here and there to different lakes.
Yeah.
I think we do better sometimes on those. Like I'm not saying y'all did better, but you know, traveling in Conroe, right? You get a different perspective. You look at things differently. I think sometimes it's easier to do better on those lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that to be true?
Yeah, I mean, if you know, kind of like you can know the layout, and you're not stuck to the same. Like just like you said earlier, like if you know the lake, you're gonna go check the same spots, and sometimes that hurts. And
Yeah,
like
like
you don't
LBJ.
know.
Yeah, we don't know anything about I mean, we've done good there, but we don't have this like history. So I always tell people, like, everyone was always talking about like spots, about, oh, I know that spot they caught him off of, or stuff like that. And I'm like, well, spots have a degree to them, in the sense of there might be a spot on LBJ that I fished, right? And I don't know. I caught like a 3-pounder off of it one day, you know? And then you might be like, dude, I've caught 25 pounds off that spot. Well, to me, I fished it, but I know it as a spot that has a 3-pounder on it. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
you have like, no, man, if you hit that spot right, you catch 25 pounds. That can help and hurt you. But at the same time, like, you know, like you don't have that going to these other lakes. If you catch a 3-pounder off a spot, you're like, it was just a 3-pounder, and you move on. And you don't go hit it in a regular tournament, like, or if it's your home lake, you might go hit that spot 3 times and never catch a fish, but you wasted all that time.
Yeah.
Right. Where on another lake, you're like, well, it was just one fish. We have better spots than that. And I think sometimes that you fish other lakes better because of that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And until you get on one of those lakes, we were on Tawakoni, and we're looking around at each other at 12 o'clock going, I don't know what we're supposed to do now. That then it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah, at least you can go hit the all the spots. Like on Belton, if you're doing bad, you can be like, oh, we can run here and catch a keeper, or run here and catch a 2-pounder.
We had none of that at Belton.
Yeah.
But we did kind of figure some stuff out. You know, like we figured some stuff out. I'll put it to you this way. We figured some ways to catch them at the end of the tournament that I'll tell you about it later. I had zero clue. It was on Live Scope. I didn't even know what we were fishing for, to be honest with. Like, at the end of the day, like, we figured something out and caught like 5. And if you'd have given us another day, that's all we would have gone and done. And I had no clue. I had no clue that was even a thing. And I felt like I kind of knew what I was doing. I felt pretty dumb after all that. Well, I don't want to keep y'all too long. I'll be watching out for y'all.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of comments. I hope they don't get too upset with Lily for talking too much and taking over the show. But I'll try to watch the comments so they don't get on her too much about, you know, talking over us and talking too much. So,
Thank you.
all right. Good luck to y'all next year. I'll be paying attention.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.